Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy EXF at EXFGaming, and today we're going to talk about the past gauntlet that just passed, the War of the Clerics, the voting gauntlet that just went through. And I just want to do a roundup discussion on the gauntlet and my overall thoughts on how the developers of Fire Emblem Heroes is actually taking the gauntlet to a different direction that we've seen, in the past gauntlets, right? So I would like to talk about it. Let's get into it here. So this is the bracket of how the matchups went down. Of course, we have our winner here. I voted for Priscilla. Priscilla did her best against Elise in the end, but she did lose. So let's actually start from the bottom here. So first bout we have Priscilla versus Clarine, which went to Priscilla, of course. Lisa won on her end, Elise won on her end, and Latches won on her end. And the biggest thing that we want to take note here is the fact that the points here versus each other are very, very similar, right? Priscilla, Clarine, 3.8 million, 3.6 million, Lisa, 3.4, Miss, 3.2, Sakura, 7.8, or not million, billion, 7.8 billion, Elise, 7.9 billion, Latches is 3, where we have 3 billion here. So, like, it's really competitive, right? So the developers made the game more competitive, especially because of the 7.5 times multiplier that allow people to, I shouldn't say allow people, it just enforced or it encouraged people to play the gauntlet and put more points into their voted units, you know what I mean? Because the incentive to playing the gauntlet is because of the feathers, right? There's really, unless you're really into, your character winning, but the incentive is the feathers for those hardcore players, right? So when we're losing, right, when our unit is losing, we get the multiplier. So let's say we're at the 7.5 times multiplier, we do a battle on the gauntlet, when we win, and we get the 7.5 times multiplier and multiply by 1.1 if you're using the character that you're voted for, right? So that's a lot of points that goes into the character, right? And allows you to actually get those points up to, let's say, the unit that's winning, right? So it actually puts a little bit of a balance, and it kind of gives the game a little bit of, like, the tug and pull kind of aspect to the game, which is, I think, really interesting. And I would like to see more of this kind of thing happen in the future, right? Because in the past, especially like the last voting gauntlet, which is the Battle of the Mages, Tharja, I think, just blew out every single bout by a landslide. Like, it was no competition for anybody using, or anybody who voted for Tharja, right? Just because there was more people under Tharja's belt and playing under Tharja, right, as opposed to the people who voted for the losing units. Although you do get more rewards that way, right? But now you get rewarded in both ends because you're not always winning, especially when we go to the last round, Priscilla versus Elise. We saw a lot of up and down. If you were paying attention, a lot of up and down. Priscilla was winning for a couple hours, Elise was winning for a couple hours. So then you would take advantage of the multiplier, in a really small time frame on both ends, right? Which was really interesting, and added like an extra layer of dynamic into the gauntlet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, was it more competitive? Like, I think it was. I think it was, in my opinion, definitely more competitive. And I would like to see more of that in the next gauntlet. Now, in terms of the next gauntlet, I'm not too sure. We don't know what the next gauntlet, who's gonna be. But for example, let's say it was gonna be like a sword, like a Battle of the Swordsman gauntlet, right? Then in that case, what I don't want to see actually is to have all the most broken units in the game, right? For example, like I don't want to see Dioma, I don't want to see Lucina, because, like, people will vote for them, right? And it doesn't actually disperse the people who play the game to vote for every single unit evenly, right? So in this gauntlet, the healer gauntlet, one of the biggest aspect that allowed this tug and pull kind of thing with the points was that, one, the healers, like healers are not popular by far. Like, if you're gonna use a support unit, people always go for dancers because your units, your most powerful units can attack twice, right? So that's just where the most popular in terms of healers. Healers are not popular, and also healers can't really support offensively, right? They can only support defensively. They're really frail in terms of defense and offense, right? Dancers, Olivia, what's the Ninian, and what's the Lancer, Azra, right? Those three units are actually really strong. They can defend themselves if needed, but healers cannot defend themselves if needed. Like, they will most likely get one shot by most units in the game, any decent character in the game. So that's one of the biggest problems in terms of popularity of these healers. And what I want to see in the next Gauntlet is the same thing, actually, to have less popular units part of the Gauntlet roster, right? So for example, like I said, let's say it's a sword Gauntlet. Then let's say the roster consisted of all the sword units in the C rank in terms of the ranking, right? So if you, instead of not again, like not like Yoma, you know, those kind of units, like C rank characters like Pala or something like that, and let them bout it out, because that kind of creates, like, people don't want to use them, people don't know much about them, people don't use them as much, so it actually disperses, you know, the players into different ends of the roster, right, in terms of how they're going to vote. So I think those are, you know, really good aspects that the game has done, especially, and of course the 7.5 times multiplier. That is actually one of the biggest keys to how, you know, how you see here all the points, how the points are actually fairly even. It's because of the 7.5 times multiplier, so that the losing team can actually catch up to the winning team. So yes, those are all my thoughts. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you actually like the healing, the War of Healers Gauntlet? Did you enjoy it? How do you like the gameplay? How do you like the new concept of the 7.5 times multiplier? How do you like the reward systems? All of that, definitely leave it in the comment section below, and definitely hit that like button, and definitely show your support by hitting that subscribe button. We have reached 200 subs. Thank you to all those people who have subscribed to EXFGaming, and of course I will leave a end card to the video for the Google Play giveaway. I do every milestone, so definitely hit that up, give it some love, watch that video, definitely support the channel by watching that video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next installment. Bye for now.